Hello and welcome to our live. I am Reynolda Jones and I am a co-author with Dr. Holly with the ebook Glowing Up in Private Practice. So first, let's introduce ourselves and I'll have Dr. Holly start.
Hi, I am Dr. Holly Sawyer, aka Dr. Holly. I am a licensed professional counselor practicing out of the state of Pennsylvania. I have a solo and group practice. I am also a certified advanced alcohol and drug counselor, a national certified counselor, and a substance abuse professional.
Great. And what's the name of your practice or practices that you have?
Solo practice is Life First Therapy, Life First Therapy. And then my group practice is called Therapy Law Collective.
Great. Well, I'm Reynolda Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker located in the state of Michigan. I'm licensed to work with individuals in Michigan and New Jersey. I'm also a certified advanced alcohol and drug counselor, an acupuncture detoxification specialist, and a certified integrative mental health professional. So thank you for joining us today. Maybe you went and seen a few of our videos in the past where we were introducing our book, Glowing Up in Private Practice, but we wanted to give you guys an update, touch on topics that are concerning to you, and we may have had a few questions about them, and let each other talk about what Dr. Holly helped
Our
me.
updates. Yeah, updates are always fun, right? Because when we initially wrote the book, what was it, last summer, we were coming from a point where we were past the start line, right? And we were at the finish line and expanding and growing. And so it's good to kind of bring the people up to speed on all the great things that we are doing as clinicians. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that help. It's always great to have a team player. But before we begin on that topic, I kind of want to recap on some of the things that we touched on in our last few videos. First of all, we have never met in person. Dr. Holly and I have a very unique relationship because we've met in a Facebook group when she was seeking information for QuickBooks, and I happened to have a referral code to help her. And we just had some parallels with our own business and what was happening with shutdowns and COVID. And so we really got together and said, hey, we need to write about this to help other people because we're sustaining our business during a pandemic. And so maybe we need to reach out to other people and let them know how they can do that too to help make their private practice pandemic proof as well.
Yes, pandemic proof. I like that. I like that.
So today's topic is solo practice versus group practice. And right now I have a solo practice that I am working towards establishing a group practice. But since the book, Dr. Holly has established a solo and a group practice. So I love to hear that update and how's it going for you?
It's going well. So my solo practice started that in 2017, and that has been going very well. I have been, she will be what, 5 years next month that we've been up and popping. So I'm celebrating that. I can't wait.
Congratulations.
Yes. And then, like you said, pandemic proof, you and I definitely like held each other down during the pandemic because it was definitely hard to keep in touch just with anybody, literally face to face. But as a therapist in solo practice, it can be so isolating. So for us to have that bond, even though we're states away, it definitely meant a lot to me, kept me going through so many processes with being, again, a practitioner in solo practice. And so July of 2020, I launched Therapy Law Collective, which is a 100% online group practice, because I wanted to at least put my boat out in the ocean and say, hey, let me help, Black and brown families, individuals who are needing therapy and help them heal from home. And initially it was very hard because people were like, I'm chilling, I don't need therapy, I'm okay. But as we started to go into 2021, a lot of people were like, okay, I'm not okay. And so I have been very blessed. The Most High has definitely been with me. We will be 2 years in July, so I'm excited about that. Thank you, thank you. And in that group practice, because we wanted to expand our net, like I said, out into the ocean and help a vast majority of Black and brown folk, we take insurance. Not all, because not all insurances are equal, and we'll get into that. But in my solo practice, I work with a specific niche of Black professional women, and I don't take in insurance on that side. Now, you mentioned that you have the solo practice and you're looking to grow into a group practice. Are you going to keep them separate like me, or are you looking to extend it and turn your solo into a group practice?
Yeah, so I have been looking to extend my current practice only because I have other disciplines that I want involved in the services that I provide. So for those who are listening, I am a holistic mental health practitioner. You might have noticed by my certifications, and I want to be able to have my clients to come in to feel like they have a wellness haven when they come in. They have other service providers, maybe it's a masseuse, maybe it's a full body acupuncturist. I only do ear acupuncture, or maybe is a Reiki practitioner, which I'm capable of doing that now because I got certified in that as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I can't have all the certifications. I mean, I could, but I want to work hard, smarter, not harder. So I want to bring on other disciplines. Right now, my main focus is bringing in other mental health therapists, because as you've mentioned, there's a lot of people that need that support. And I have an influx of people, including EAP services that I've connected with, that's like sending me 10 referrals a day. And some are families, some are couples. My focus is mainly on individual work. And so I want somebody that specializes in this so we can start taking on those people and helping and supporting them. The
Okay.
hardest part that I've been having, though, is people maintaining their appointments for job interviews. And I belong to a lot of online Facebook groups, so I know it's not just me. So it's not a personal thing, but it's been a pattern for many people to schedule appointments for the interview, but then either not show up or to cancel it.
Okay.
So, and I've
So
read a
that
lot about people. I actually heard on the news not too long ago that there's the highest number of people right now, not just therapists, they have appointments scheduled for job interviews, but they're not showing up. And this is like one of the newest things out there. So it's happening. It's happening.
So I have the opposite. I have it where I'm interviewing, people are showing, but after an interview, I never hear back to say if they, are interested, even when I'll follow up with an email. But it's really weird because I don't offer the position like outright. I make it like, a collaborative type of interview to say, if you're interested, let's see how we can make this, come together. And if I know for a fact that I don't want to hire this person, then I would just let them know via email. But
Mhm.
the people I have been interviewing, they've been okay. And I've had a couple that I've like, I would really like to bring on to the team. But again, just ghosting. And that's okay. I don't take it personal. And so one of the takeaways from this chapter, the solo versus group practice, is that if you are going to build a group practice, that's part of the process. You're going to interview people who you want. They may not be interested after the interview, or you may struggle initially bringing on people, and it's not you. We're definitely in a great resignation era. So you kind of got to really
Yeah.
sanitize, with those borders, and just, remain resilient. And depending on what state you are located in, you could look at interns. Some insurance panels do allow them and some don't. If you decide to open up a group practice that takes insurance, some, won't allow it. But again, looking at your state, those regulations,
Mhm.
if you're deciding to go with some panels, like I said, some accept, you having an intern that's working under you or pre-licensed clinician. So yeah.
Yeah.
What would be like some of your takeaways with going through that process and having your solo practice?
Yeah. So I think for me, I think that the good fit will come. I mean, I have had interviews with people, but they weren't very clear um, on what it is my practice provides. So making sure that when you do interview with a company, that you have looked at their website, or that you know that I'm not hiring for full time, you know, right now. I'm hiring for a very part-time until we can build up caseload. So if you want to leave your full-time job, don't tell don't tell me like, well, my goal is to leave the full-time job. And so that's why I'm coming to you. I can't provide that lifestyle right now. That's not what I have available, and that's not what I'm offering. So please be sure, and this is for anyone, I had to do it myself, that you read closely what it is you're applying to. And I know, like with Indeed and all these other online hiring sites, it's so easy to just push that button and just enter your resume. Because I've made those mistakes before too. Um, but
Right. So that's coming from the side of an employee, someone who is looking for a job. I'm saying, what are some tips or some takeaways that you can give to, the clinician who's looking
mhm.
to open up, or transition from solo to group, or have a group practice in general?
I think that, like you've mentioned, it's not to take it personal. It can feel like that, especially because there's so many places offering extra huge bonuses right now. And maybe you're not at that place where you can do that. So finding a way to make it where people who are applying can feel welcome, can feel like, okay, you are really concerned about the clientele and you're very passionate about it. I do think that when people know how passionate you are about who you're serving, that it does come across and it is important to them too.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
can also help determine, do I want to stay here? Do I feel like I'm going to be accepted and treated well as an employee? Um, so I think that's helpful.
Okay. Um, Another piece too, but this will also depend on your state. You want to be very knowledgeable on if your state allows you to have 1099 contractor, um, contractors rather. I know California, New York, I think Jersey for sure. You can't have 1099s. They have to be, W-2s. I started out with my therapist being 1099, but it was just a headache for me paper wise. So I transitioned her to W-2 just this year. And then make sure you got systems in place. You don't have to, have a huge system in place like we talked about earlier, QuickBooks that you mentioned. You can have QuickBooks for self-employees, but you want to make sure at the end of the tax season that you have somewhere where you can draw down a profit and loss statement. I'm a member of ADP. I'm not promoting or suggesting that people use ADP because there's gusto out there and other services, but definitely find you a payroll services because you don't want to be in a position where you're constantly working in the business versus on.
Well, one thing I found, since I don't necessarily have a group practice established yet, is that I have sought out services to help me with the planning process and looking at what I would need in addition to that, and the state, Michigan's state information about 1099s here versus employees. So I have, since that time, worked with a business coach, and I've also worked with a mentor through the Small Business Association, and that's a free service that is offered to you. So I do continue that process, talking about how to hire, even going over like, well, how do you even talk to potential employees or potential contractors to let them know what you're offering and what you're seeking from them as well. So I have been working on that for a while, and that's been very helpful as well. So if you don't feel very confident in that area, or maybe you are confident in that area, but you don't really have the skills or the knowledge, I do recommend using those services because they are free. They're available in every state. Every state has a small business association, so you can ask for a mentor.
Yep. SBA score. There's different ways that you can go about and getting a free mentor, and it doesn't even matter what phase you are in your business because they're like you said, they're local free resources. So yeah. I think, for any other, insights or tips, people would need to, go ahead and purchase our ebook.
Yes, our ebook can be found on either of our websites. So my website is asolutionb.com, and
And my website is lifefirsttherapy.com. You can click on products and you'll see our ebook right there.
Yeah, Glowing Up in Private Practice, where we help you make your practice pandemic proof.
Yes.
All right. Anything else before we dismiss? All right, so everyone, we'll see you next time.